Right now, your cat is looking at you and seeing something you have never once considered. You assume they see their owner, maybe their favourite person in the world. But in all the time your cat has shared your home, they have never once registered you as a human being. What they actually perceive instead reshapes everything you thought you knew about your bond. And most cat owners go their entire lives without realising it, missing the messages their cat sends them every single day. So let's get into exactly what it is your cat sees when they look at you. 1. To your cat, you are a giant awkward feline. Have you noticed that your cat doesn't behave toward you the way a dog behaves toward its owner? No frantic welcome at the front door, no frenzied need to earn your approval. And that's not indifference. That's something much more interesting. Cat behaviour researcher John Bradshaw spent years observing how domestic cats interact with people and discovered something remarkable. Cats never evolved a distinct social code for dealing with humans. Dogs adapted. Cats simply didn't bother. When your cat nudges you with their head, winds around your ankles or licks your fingers, they aren't performing owner affection. They're running the same social routines they would use with another cat. In their mind, you're not a master. You're not a pet parent. You're an enormous, uncoordinated feline who somehow ended up sharing their territory. And honestly, that might be the highest compliment they could pay you. It means they've folded you into their world, not as an outsider, not as a keeper, but as one of their own. Here's what most people never stop to consider though. That belief your cat holds, that you belong to their social world, triggers something far deeper than a casual greeting. Later in this video, we'll look at what scientists recently uncovered about how that sense of belonging physically rewires the way your cat responds to stress and fear. When you hear it, everything about the way you see your cat will finally click. 2. That gift on your doorstep is actually a lesson. Why does your cat drop something dead, or very nearly dead, at your feet, and then stare at you with quiet expectation? Most people laugh awkwardly and toss it outside, but that moment is one of the most genuinely caring things your cat will ever do for you. Here's what's really going on. In the wild, mother cats carry prey back to their young, not to show dominance, but to train them. The prey isn't a trophy, it's a curriculum, and when your cat performs that same act for you, they are running that maternal instinct with one crucial difference. You are the student. They have been watching you. You never stalk anything. You never pounce. You walk to a humming metal box, pull out food, and somehow survive. From their perspective, you are dangerously unskilled, and rather than write you off, they've decided to mentor you. Some cats deliver already dead prey to start you off gently. Others bring it still moving, giving you the chance to finish the job yourself and develop your technique. If your cat has ever dropped a toy in front of you and stood there making noise, consider that the indoor version of the same lesson. Your cat isn't bringing you something dead, they're offering you a second chance. That said, context matters. If they drop something and go still, watching you quietly, that's instruction mode. If they drop it and immediately start bouncing around, they want to play. Either way, they chose you as their person. And if what you're learning right now is shifting how you see your cat, hit like and subscribe so Pawsychology can keep helping cat owners decode what their cats have been trying to say all along. 3. Your face is a permanent blur to them. Have you ever leaned close to your cat and felt like they were staring straight through you? That's physiologically accurate. Anything within roughly 10 inches of a cat's face falls outside the range of clear focus. The closer you get, the more your face dissolves into a soft or indistinct shape, and it doesn't sharpen much at greater distances either. Where you see crisp lines and detailed features, your cat experiences a world of outlines and impressions. The fine details of your face, the ones you think of as distinctly yours, are largely invisible to them. So does your cat actually recognize you? Almost certainly not by your face. What they are extraordinarily good at, though, is motion. Their visual system is built to detect even the faintest movement with stunning precision. A finger twitch, a micro shift in posture, a hand moving beneath a blanket. They catch all of it. This also explains why you sometimes hold a treat directly in front of your cat and they sniff past it entirely. It's not stubbornness. The treat is simply outside the range their eyes can resolve, so they default to smell to find it. And smell, along with sound and the particular way you move through space, that is how your cat actually knows you, not a snapshot of your features, the entire felt sense of your presence. 4. Meowing was developed specifically for you. Adult cats do not meow at other cats. It is simply not part of how they communicate with each other. Between cats, the conversation unfolds through posture, scent, hissing, and silence. Meowing belongs to kittens, a survival sound aimed at their mother. As cats grow up and become independent, that behavior disappears almost entirely. Almost entirely. Except when they live with you. Your cat figured out early on that you are remarkably poor at reading their natural signals. The slow blink that carries deep meaning, you overlook it. The nuanced tail language, you miss it entirely. From a communication standpoint, you are operating at a real deficit. So your cat reached back for an old tool and repurposed it just for you. Your cat built a whole language just for you, because you were worth the effort, and it is not a single generic noise. Over months and years sharing a space, your cat develops a specific vocabulary keyed entirely to you. The sound for "I'm hungry" is distinct from the sound for "pay attention to me." The door meow is entirely different from the 3 a.m. wake you for no reason meow. None of these sounds exist between cats in the natural world. They were created because your cat decided you are someone worth reaching. That's not just behavioral adaptation. That is your cat bending their entire evolutionary instinct in your direction. 5. Your presence is their nervous system's off switch. Have you ever walked into a room and watched your cat visibly decompress? Ears softening, eyes going half-lidded, their whole body rolling sideways onto the floor? You probably assumed they were simply tired, but there is a real possibility that the thing that changed was you walking through the door. In 2019, researchers at Oregon State University ran an attachment study that quietly rewrote the accepted wisdom about how cats bond. They placed cats in an unfamiliar room alongside their owner, then removed the owner for 2 minutes before bringing them back. What they found surprised the scientific community. More than 60% of the cats demonstrated what attachment researchers call a secure bond, meaning once the owner returned, the cat calmed, began to explore the space and settled back into ease. Without the owner present, those same cats were tense, vocal, and withdrawn. This is not a footnote. This is the same emotional architecture that human infants display toward their caregivers, the same bond, the same regulatory wiring. Your cat does not experience you as something outside their sense of safety. You are built into it. That distinction matters more than it might seem, because it means you're not merely tolerated or appreciated. You are actively necessary to how they function. Go back to what we said at the very beginning. Your cat has never seen you as a human. They see you as one of their own kind, a member of their world, and this study shows exactly where that perception leads. They don't merely accept you as a fellow creature. They have made you the signal that tells their entire nervous system it is safe to let go. You do not have to earn that. You already have it. Your cat doesn't need you to be fluent in their language or perfectly attuned to every signal they send. They just need you to show up, consistently and without pretense. Because somewhere along the way, without you even noticing, you stopped being just a person to them. You became the place they feel most like themselves. You became home.